every single episode of my podcast, the Thought Stop podcast with Paul Swope, somehow or another involves conversations about forgiveness. Now, forgiving myself was hands down the hardest thing that I ever did, but here's how I did it. So first, I started showing myself compassion, and that is something I hadn't done before. And I did that by reflecting on how I adopted my behaviors from toxic people. Now, we do this between the ages of like 2 and 6 years old, and those beliefs influence our behaviors through adulthood. Now, second, I envisioned my younger self. Now, this was a hard one, but I envisioned my younger self, and I imagined myself as an adult hugging her. I cannot remember who taught me this technique, but it is so effective. And I envisioned my younger self in damaging situations from my past. And then I saw my current self just in my mind physically remove her from those situations and tell her that, hey, everything is okay now. It was tough, but that works. Now, the third thing, if I had a forgiveness weapon, it was empathy, and it's still empathy. Empathy will take you so far, and through empathy, I was able to step into the shoes of the people who were mainly responsible for my socialization, and I took a look into why they were the way they were, and that helped me to see myself in a totally different light, because I was just monkey see, monkey do. I was a product of how I had been taught to behave and taught how to treat myself and other people. So fourth, I started living with mindful awareness, and my newfound awareness allowed me to see really my life more clearly than I ever had. Mindful awareness is what made me realize I was living in the past. I felt like I was supposed to feel guilty or something for making decisions that were actually right for me, and still felt guilty about that. And then I learned that guilt is a useless feeling. It's a useless emotion, a total waste of time. Dr. Wayne Dyer taught me that. And I realized that the past cannot be undone. And so there's absolutely no reason to revisit it constantly unless it's briefly for healing purposes. Learn from it, move the hell on. And that's how I channeled that past negative energy into something good. I learned from the mistakes I made, and I never repeated those again. And that right there merits forgiving myself, and it merits forgiving yourself. So fifth, I started treating people with more kindness and compassion because, I no longer viewed them through the lens of judgment. I released the need for that. And this oddly plays into your ability to forgive yourself, because treating people with compassion raises your vibe. Sixth, I accepted my situation for what it was and took full responsibility for it. And during this stage, I did a lot of admitting, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. But holding on to all of that garbage, oh my God, it was just keeping me from my life purpose, and it was weighing me down. And so the next thing, if I felt like I needed to make amends with someone, I did that. And if you want to make amends with someone, but like the thought of talking to them makes you physically ill, then don't do it. Just write them a letter. You don't even have to mail it. Writing about your feelings it's cathartic. And the act of writing about how you feel chips away at the grip that those debilitating emotions may have on you. And I'll also add that a fully felt feeling only lasts 90 seconds. This is backed by science. You can look it up. So don't be afraid to revisit those feelings from the past that still cause you pain and suffering to this day. Sometimes it's necessary to revisit experiences that are associated with events that caused you to do something that you can't forgive yourself for. And the more you face those feelings, the less of a grip they have on you. And lastly, I'm sorry, I have to keep adjusting my phone because the sun is so bright. So, lastly, but God knows not least, I had to understand and face my emotions. Like, I made a list of everything I had done that I wanted to forgive myself for. And most of the things on the list was stuff I'd done to myself, like not to other people. So each thing on my list was associated with an emotion. When I identified those emotions, I would say a statement. And I'll tell you the statement using the example of humiliation, because I experienced a lot of humiliation trauma back in the day. So my statement was, I release the need for humiliation. I fully and freely let it go forever. I'll stop here. I've just given you a lot. But forgiving yourself is the best gift you can ever give to yourself. And it's an ongoing process. None of us are finished products. So you may as well get comfortable with forgiving yourself, because it's something that you will need to do for the rest of your life.